like the first thing I think about is like, oh, look at that guy's arms. He has awesome arms. But like to me, like a dude with a big ass back, freaking like stacked legs, like that's a solid dude. You know what I'm saying? But girls are just looking at the arms and the calves. I mean, those are like the puny stuff, the puny muscles. Like they don't do anything. I mean, they do stuff, but not as much as your...
And so my buddy Jay actually played on the junior Olympic team for the Canadian junior Olympic team, and then later on was the captain of Team USA.
Yeah.
And so he was crazy athletic.
Yeah.
And when he left hockey, he was, in high school, he was freaking jacked and shredded.
Yeah.
And he always used to wear sweatpants because he had the tiniest little baby ankle calves you've ever seen. And I had girl calves, and they were bigger than his. I mean, his look, and he would do, like, Arnold-style calf work. You know, like 100 calf raises a day, like, 500 pounds.
The donkey calf raises where someone
he was doing
sits on your
everything.
back.
Oh, we would load up like 3 buddies and like, and still nothing. So calves suck.
That is funny. The way I started, my humble beginnings, I was born 11 pounds right at the womb.
I was almost 6.
Quite a dichotomy. My brother was 10. So my older brother was 10. I was 11. My mom, poor mom, bless her soul. I love you for having us. But I came out, and I had a very strong gravitation for sweets.
I thought you were going to say gravity. I was like, yeah.
Well, gravity too. Very good point. But that's a very good point. But yeah, Little Debbie was my best friend. I moved from Dubai, UAE, and so when I moved, it was a very hard move, and I was really depressed because it was very hard for me to make friends. I came from a very international school to an all-white school, and then there was me, the brown kid, the brown chubby kid. And so I relied on zebra cakes and Little Debbie and those round pizzas at the cafeteria and the freaking chicken nuggets and dipping those into mashed potatoes. They were so good back then, but it was a recipe for man boobs. Serious recipe for man boobs, and it actualized. It manifested into real life man boobs, and it was sad. And whenever I went to the pool, it was awful because it was kind of like, yeah, I love going to the pool. I love enjoying the water, but at the same time, I would just feel so uncomfortable and awkward in my body. And I felt like that all the way through middle school, even up to high school. Until my brother started to step in and say, hey, man, you got to do something about your body. You look freaking soft. I mean, he called me out. You're like, you look soft. And this dude was on a bodybuilding regime. He was like doing back squats, deadlifts. He was doing bench press. He was on like a 4 or 5 day cycle. And so I hopped on with him, and he was a big, big inspiration for me to get into shape. And I fell in love with squats. I fell in love with that. And even now, the clients that know me, they know the first thing I look at is a squat. Can you sit into a squat? No? All right, that's what we're going to work on first. And they keep saying, oh, you love squats. I'm like, yeah, I do. I fucking love squats. They're awesome. They're primal. It's what you're supposed to be able to do. So anyway, that got me really into it. And I just got obsessed. I got literally obsessed with working out. I still ate like shit. But working out became my obsession. But what drove me to really optimize my body was how well I could perform in the gym. It became my motivator. I was like, how can I up my lifts? How can I become stronger? And then that became my drive to eat healthier, to eat organic, to eat clean. And then I realized, man, I'm getting stronger faster. I'm feeling healthier. My skin's clearing up. This is revolutionary. And then ever since then, I got hooked on bodybuilding, which then turned into athletics. I played basketball for all 4 years of high school, and that got me into shape too. But there was still a component that was missing, and it's a component that I feel like Scott and I are really bringing to the table now, and that's wellness. Because it went from just performing, which is very, very much integrated with wellness, to an awareness that wellness is needed to perform.
Performance is the upper upper limit of wellness, and they're absolutely inextricable.
Yeah.
I 100% agree, and I will definitely say that you can achieve a lot, but it's very superficial if you're not well, and you will lose it. And wellness is many faceted components, and one thing I think that wellness kind of, someone who speaks to me in the wellness sort of community, which is not really in the community, is someone like Mark Devine. Mark Devine, who's the owner and operator of SealFit, and so former Navy SEAL, and runs a training system for up and coming or just aspiring Navy SEALs, and it's out of a sort of a melding pot of it's a melting pot really of Navy SEAL type mental pushing the mental state with meditation and his own form of what he calls warrior yoga, which basically he takes yoga and puts it into 2-hour routines to develop the warrior mindset. It's fascinating, and he combines it with CrossFit style, barbell movements, gymnastics movements, and it's really interesting. But he talks about having, do you have a plan? Do you have a physical development plan? Do you have a fitness plan? Do you have a nutrition plan? Do you have a plan to not just passively take something in? Are you going to intentionally do something about it? Do you have a plan? Do you have a spiritual plan? Are you doing something to spiritually invest yourself and grow yourself? Do you have an intuition plan?
Yeah.
Which is his huge thing, that through intense physical immersive experiences where he'll do like a 48-hour camp where you don't sleep for 48 hours and sort of like a mini hell week, and put you into these states where it's really it's this mental cultivation of where's your intuition and you discovering who you are. It's trial by fire, but do you have a business plan? Do you have a reading, learning plan? And it just really a relationships plan. And when he talks about these facets, it really speaks to me that wellness is deeply rooted in performance. And that if you're missing if you have holes and you're not planning and you're not consciously addressing these things to further yourself, you're always weak. And that really speaks to me. And so I think that I look back at the pictures, and what's ironic to me is when I would say I looked the best was I would say last year, January, February, was just, I was over 170, so it was like 172, but I was a big, because I'm a premature born kid. I have some very small bone structure, so 170 on me looks like 185 on most guys, 190, and I looked big. I was shredded, and what's interesting is that you'll see it in the picture when it goes up. I'm fucking miserable. And I mentioned this to you, and this is just, I'm not going to lie to people anymore, and like, I'm not going to hide, and I'm not going to lie to the beings, and I'm just not going to, if we're really going to reach beyond who we are and help people be well and have them help others, like, we want to make we're looking to spread wellness, not ourselves. And you can spread wellness best by really sharing your failures, so that others can understand and learn from them a lot more than your success. And I was really depressed at that time in my life, and a lot of things had come together, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point in the podcast history. But just in interest of time, I was in a really bad state of depression, and it was going downhill. And I really latched on to the thing that was what I was already invested in, which was training, and at that point eating and just diving even deeper into it, obsessing to an even deeper degree, going to the point where it enveloped my life, because it's what kept me alive. And it's not the first time that the barbell has saved my life, and I'll be completely honest with that, but I will say that it is, it's interesting that I looked my best and I was the most miserable. And Lauren and I talked about how if you're already someone who's deeply invested in training, and look, there's nothing wrong with that. Like there are some people who don't have anything and they fall off completely. And I had something, and I'm grateful to God for that. But it wasn't. I had myself and the barbell, and I needed more. I needed God. I needed help, and I needed friends, and I needed some other just. I needed to fix some problems, and so I was training deeply, but that's because it's what I already had in my life. And I think that when you go through those, if you ever go through, and I pray that you never have to do this, but I mean, everybody has bad times. It's just the severity. If you ever go through a really bad time, I think you really deeply invest in the thing that you already sort of seek out. And for me, I would seek out training, and I would seek out my eating and my diet, and like everything was. I wouldn't even say it's optimized, because when you're that extreme, it's not optimum; it's just extreme. But yeah, damn, I looked good, but damn, was I fucking unhappy. And I think for some people, it could be the complete opposite. I think if not just training, but I think if eating well is a struggle for you, and compliance is an issue, and just healthy habits, and kind of struggling with resisting the junk food and the shit, and being so malnourished that you just crave crappy food, and you get depressed, I think you may go more into that side. Yeah. But what do you think? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just want to be honest that it's not to say that you can't have an amazing body, be strong, and be everything that you want to look on the outside, and not be happy. But I wasn't well. Yeah. And you can get there, but only from a state of wellness. And I'm there now, and I'm now actually trying to come back to that midpoint from a healthy point. Yeah.
No, I think it's interesting, because a lot of people glorify the work. They glorify how hard can I kick my ass? And they may look great on the outside, but it's very telling that how you look on the outside may not be a direct manifestation of how you're feeling on the inside. How well you are, right? Like you were saying. And I totally experienced this myself, and it's really cool you mentioned this. It's really opening me up to talk about my experience. And as I was getting into college, I was in freaking awesome shape. I mean, I was fast as hell on the basketball court. No one could touch me. I was quick. I had the quickest crossover, I thought, at least. I was good. I was really in a good place physically. I looked great. I had abs. But I felt like shit because I had a really, really tough skin disease, which I've talked about before, called HS for short, and it made me feel like crap. So I turned to more exercise, like you did. So I would do more and more sprints, a lot of plyometrics, and I would eat these very, very almost like IF diets, where it was just pretty much fast, and big bulk meal at the end. And because of my skin condition, I would stick to mainly just vegan food, which destroyed me hormonally. And so I had no sex drive. I had no desire for women. I felt like crap. I had no energy, and I kept pushing myself in the gym, both the basketball gym and the weight room. So I totally relate to you. Again, what you look like on the outside is not a direct manifestation of what you feel on the inside.
Well, that's this. I could go on with this even more, but we actually have to wrap it up tonight. We'll definitely dive into this a little more later on, like this kind of connection between body comp and body composition and mood and depression, and how fitness can also be it can be empowering, but it can also be dangerous. But so can anything else in life. And I think it's a darker side that